Kingdom principle. Not my will, but thy will be done. And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for the good, for those who are called according to his purpose. Romans chapter 8, verse 28. Listen, have you ever asked God any of these questions? Why was I born? Why am I here? And what is my purpose? Not just when you're feeling down on yourself, and we all have those days, but also when you're in pursuit of the goals that you set for your own life. Well, I'm sure you have, just like everyone else. Now, we ask God those questions, not for him to reveal his will for our lives, but because of our desire to be significant. In other words, we want God to help us reach our goals because we want to do something that gets us noticed and makes an impact on this world, which is what we think we're supposed to do. But sadly, for most if not all of us, it really doesn't matter if what we say or do makes us famous or infamous. What really matters to all of us is that we get noticed and find significance. Why? Because insignificance is a very dark and lonely place to be in, and all those who live there have to use deception and foolishness to get attention. However, the fact that even in your irrelevance, you can conjure up interest in what you say or do only proves that your life is full of chaos and that nothing is working together for the good because you don't love God and you're not called according to his purpose. I know that sounds harsh, but if the God of the universe, who has all power, knows all things, and who is everywhere, is real, and is, then why can't his will be done and not ours? Well, the problem is that for generations, we have been lied to, deceived, and indoctrinated with both religious and secular dogma that says we choose God, not that God chooses us. But this false doctrine that man created to try to make himself equal to God has plunged this world into the chaos we live in today. Luke chapter 22 verses 41 and 42 says, "And he was withdrawn from them about a stone's cast. And he knelt down and prayed, saying, Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done." So Jesus, in the midst of chaos, had to choose between what was at stake, which was the relationship between God and man, or to forget about what was at stake and do what he wanted to do. But according to Hebrews chapter 12, verse 2, Jesus told to do God's will, and he took the curse of sin on himself by becoming the sacrifice for the sins of the world, so that through his righteousness, the relationship between God and man could be restored. But we don't love God enough to want to be like Jesus, and that includes the majority of us who claim to be Christians. In fact, in Acts chapter 11, verse 26, they were called Christians at Antioch because they acted like Jesus, which is what we're really supposed to be doing to make an impact on this world. Jesus said that his purpose was to do the will of the Father. And if we're going to be followers of Jesus, this is our purpose too. So my brothers and sisters, and particularly those of you who are younger, listen to me. You can do whatever you want with your life. You can choose to have a career in business, education, politics, medicine, athletics, and even crime. But if it is not the will of the Father, then the mark you leave on this world will be forgotten. Jesus obeyed the will of the Father over 2,000 years ago, and the world is still talking about it. Why? Because he chose to die so that we could live. He said, nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done.